Hey, what's up guys, Klauhoy is back with a new video and today we will do something different in Dead by Daylight. I know there are many new players in this game and there are so many killers that it's sometimes quite difficult to lay your hands on how to loop the killer or how to counter a killer specifically. So, with we, I mean me, the Funky Maker, and Kanye, because I brought two friends along so we can do this. We will go on every killer one by one to counter them as survivor, but also as killer how you can counter a survivor, so it's a two-way video. First we'll talk about how we can counter the trapper, and then we'll go in on how as trapper you can counter a survivor. Currently there are like 36 killers and we will start with the trapper. The first thing you need to know about the trapper is that he moves at 4.6 meters per second, which is average, and that he has a 32 meter terror radius and he's standing quite tall. His power, easily explained, is that he carries bear traps around to catch you in. And that's where you can counter him. That's indeed where you can counter him. Post recording, Claudia here. It also means that when you don't use his power, he's basically a regular M1 killer. I also forgot to mention that as a trapper, you should place down your traps at a strategic place to catch the survivors off guard. Early game and mid game is pretty slow because it's a setup killer, which means you have to go around the map and set stuff up for it to work. I would choose one area to densely pack it with traps, so survivors are more eagerly to run into it, and I would chase them into that area. And I will show you in a few clips. In a first clip, it's about the traps in the grass or in bushes, so to see. Here, there wasn't really much grass on this map, so we chose for the bushes. And you gotta avoid it. Also, if you disarm traps, survivors can run over it, just as you see Kanye do it. Kanye is our Toledo. Here we run around the shack to show you how to loop around the shack. And to avoid run into the traps. There was actually a trap over there. I didn't see it and luckily ran into it. Because this will show you guys that if you don't pay attention to the grass, you loop around and you run into the trap. Here we show this everything at the shack because it's easiest to show. We're going to loop here and we will drop the pallet and we run. Nice little loop. The trapper can also fake placing the bear trap, which leads you to leaving the loop very fast, because he gets a speed boost for a few seconds. I got stuck there. And before I forget to mention it, the trapper carries 2 traps at base. You can carry 2. And a total of 10 traps. And we'll go back to this loop. And drop it out and we'll move on. But basically he can also place the traps and get a speed boost for a few seconds or fake it. Here we'll show a look around the map. He gave me the pallet drop so I would have enough time to walk around because of the extra traps he put down I didn't see before. But you can see Kanye is disarming the trap for me, which allows me to run over it. He doesn't fully disarm it, so the trapper steps into his own trap. If the killer traps a pallet like this, you can just drop the pallet over it and then you can vault over that trap without getting caught in it, which does waste a resource. So here are some other examples of traps in tall grass in dark maps where it's difficult to see them. You gotta walk around and watch out that you don't step into a random trap, because that will happen a lot if you don't pay attention to the ground. Another thing to counter the trapper is to follow him around the whole map to ambush his traps. Disarm them all so people don't get stuck in them. Follow him around the map to make his powers basically useless, because then he'll turn into a regular M1 killer, which makes him a lot less strong, because he's basically got no power if there are no traps set up. Now we'll go to the segment, and Tiny's gonna vault that window right now. And he does not step into the trap because he fast falls over it. This segment is where the killer counters the survivor. You gotta place your traps good, because if you fast fall right now, you see that Kine is getting stuck in the trap. If you place him too close to the window, he falls over it. Here you can see what happens if Kanye walks around the corner. There's a trap here right next to Shaq around the corner on the right. It's very hard to see because it's a dark map. He's taking a little look time, he's going around, and he starts into it. That's a way how to counter a survivor around a Shack. Here you see him face fake placed trap, which gives him basically a guaranteed hit. They accidentally stuck in both their own traps. Here Kanye was trying to run towards the gen, and he didn't see a trap, so he stepped into it. Sometimes the random traps get survivors more than strategically placed traps. But above all the ways, this is the best place to trap a killer, to counter him. He's basically stuck, can't get out, can't pick up his traps, and we're just bullying him. I hope you guys do enjoy. They're not very long videos because we give each killer their own video. We're nearing the end of the video. There's one thing I almost forgot to talk about with the trapper, and that is the map. There are some maps that are good for him. Most likely the outdoor maps, the ones with tall grass. The dark maps like the Borgo, Altohaven Wreckers, where it's like dark and the traps get easily hidden. And there are some maps like indoor maps. Take for instance Midwich and Larry's Memorials Institute. Yeah, you can force survivors to a vault. But survivors won't be stupid. They won't walk around with, like headless chickens. So it's more difficult to hide your traps because the traps will be more visible on the ground. So I would say avoid indoor maps as a trapper and go for maps like Cold Wind to hide your traps in corn. The map from the Singularity, I forgot what it's called. It's very plant-like and full of flowers and stuff where you can hide your traps in, so take that into account. This is gonna be the end of this video. I really hope you learned something from it, and I hope to see you guys soon. Next up we will do the second killer in the roster, and that is a killer I used to main, and that is the Wraith.